The following podcast is rated D for dumb. You're listening to Dumbing It Down with Dave, the fastest podcast on earth. Listen to Dave commute to and from work on the New York State Thruway in his 2008 Kia Rio LX. He talks about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. Join Dave as he asks and tells you how life ought to be. And now, here's Dave.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dumbing It Down with Dave. This is Dave Kanyan, your one and only solo podcast host. Are you ready to dumb it down? All right, here we go. We're dumbing it down. All right, dum-dums, welcome to the show. This is going to be an interesting experience for all of us as I am sitting in my... I just blew that, Jason. We didn't even get started, and I've already destroyed this microphone. Probably not destroyed it. But so anyway, folks, as I do my microphone repair, I'm not going to even hit the pause button. I'm just going to live with it. I don't know how this works. Bradford Rogers of the Multimedia Ninja YouTube podcast, broadcast show, whatever it is, sent me this Smart Lav Plus. I just attached it to my seatbelt, and before we even got going, it came off the seatbelt because I don't know how to use a lavalier clip or a mic or anything. So here we go. How's that? It looks like it's all right. So we're testing this. We're going to do Dumbing It Down with Dave. Say hello, Jason.
Hello, Jason.
Okay. So Jason Smith is the host of the deplorable-radio show on WGXC.org. Once a month, once every blue moon. How does that work?
Second Sunday of the month.
Second Sunday of the month, every month. And so is it always... Okay, so it's 12 a year.
Yes.
Right. And we just did his show live. So now we're going to do my DUMBCAST recorded. I have this new Smart Lav Plus mic that Bradford Rogers from the Multimedia Ninja sent me to use and to test. And you're using the other half of what I used to use, which is the Movo. And I'm just putting that out there so people know. You might hear some sounds that are different. I don't know. You might hear the car vibration. I don't know what you're going to hear. We're going to drive. Right now we're sitting on Columbia. What is that? Columbia and North 7th Street. Oh, did you know there was a picture of a whale up there,
yes.
Jason?
I did know that, actually.
Oh.
I don't know the story behind it, but there's something
Hudson
with
used to be
Hudson
like
and Wales.
Hudson and Wales. That's interesting. All right.
Yeah.
That probably should be the picture of my my podcast icon, whatever they call that. Or what's the other word? Not icon. Emoji. Or not emoji. There's another word for when you take a picture. And avatar.
Avatar, yes.
Okay. So North 7th Street, that's irrelevant to you, but I just want to give you an idea. It is 12:26 Eastern Time. We're in Hudson, New York, which is south of Albany. It's east of the Hudson River. It's north of where I live in Saugerties. And we're in the Honda Fit. And thank you, Dum-Dums, for tuning in. So now we're going to drive, which I normally do because it's normally the fastest podcast on earth. And I usually do my DUMBCAST while I'm driving to and from my work, during my commute. Well, actually, I don't even need this on anymore. So, but I'm not going to work today. Today, we're just going to drive.
Okay.
You and I.
Sounds good to me.
Your lapel is on.
Yes.
And you're wearing a leather jacket. My lapel is on. So let's drive. So, Jason.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dave.
You're the first guest in my Fit, other than Bobby Massey, but you're the first guest while we're driving.
Okay.
So it is a full blue sky. It's sunshine out. And the car feels a little warm to me. How does it feel to you?
A little warm.
A little warm. Okay.
I don't want to roll down the window because
I know, we're afraid.
Kill the sound.
Kill the sound. All right, I'm going to find a nice long stretch of road, which I happen to know where there's a couple in this area because I've commuted from Rensselaer at my job to my home in Saugerties through Rensselaer, through Hudson several times. So I know there's a road over here.
Yeah, it's a nice drive going through Columbia County.
Yeah. So, that's right, because right now we're in Greene County, aren't we?
No, this is Columbia.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Hudson is okay, you're probably right.
Yeah, on the east side of the river, it's Columbia. On the west side, it's Greene County.
Okay, there you go. All right, so we're in the car, we're driving. The phone is sitting on a pair of my gloves from work, hopefully absorbing shock and all that. So I have to apologize in advance if it sounds bad to you. I know I can't get too much speed, because did I stop at nothing? I thought I saw a stop sign. Oh, I thought I saw a stop sign. All right. You're my co-navigator, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you have to help out.
It's amazing, by the way, how you have all this technology in your car. It used to be you're lucky if you have a radio station that'll tune in.
Right.
You have an actual radio studio in your car.
I have a rolling studio. That's right. And You can actually plug in yourself if you want over there and charge up while we're driving. That's kind of amazing. That's a good pointing out that little difference between what was and what is.
You actually have more mics in your car than the studio we just came from.
That's right. I am more prepared to do a podcast in my car, my Honda Fit, than WGXC is in a sort of professional radio station. But they have done very well for themselves.
Yes, they have.
I see a lot of improvements. So for whatever reason, if anybody from WGXC is listening, which I know they're not, great job on improving the station since I've left. So, good job. All right, Jason, so here we are. We're in the car. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I don't know why I'm having my announcer voice on, but I feel like I need to have a certain amount of bravado. I need to have a certain amount of, I need to not emulate. I need to oralate. That's not even the word I want. What's the word I want?
I don't know.
Speculate.
Speculate. I think that's the word.
All right. All right. So listen. So we just did a podcast, a radio show with you, Jason Smith's Deplorable Radio.
Yes.
By the way, is that the official title, Jason Smith's Deplorable Radio? Right.
Yes.
Are there other Deplorable Radios?
I think there is. There's one, I think, from Las Vegas that follows the show's Twitter account, and they're probably mad that they couldn't get at Deplorable Radio before I did.
All right. So Jason Smith. Oh, this is the road I wanted. I did want this road. This is 9. Excellent. So the official title is Jason Smith's Deplorable Radio.
Yes.
All right, there you go.
And as much as that sounds like a political reference because it came from Hillary Clinton,
right?
We just got done talking about how we know nothing about politics.
Right. So this show is going to be possibly talking about politics, but we readily admit we know nothing about it. All right, so we covered the top of the show. We covered wrestling. We talked about Ric Flair.
Yes.
And we talked about his 30 for 30 documentary.
Yes.
And we talked about some paranormal stuff. We did. That was interesting. I didn't expect to go let's make a right turn. And so we're just driving around Hudson, folks.
You mentioned aliens on my show and how you're always prepared for a UFO except for when it's raining.
Yes.
And I was thinking about it while you were speaking, but I never brought it up on the air.
Right.
I think I may have seen a UFO recently.
Really?
I don't know what it was. It looked like a plane. Normally I would just write off the lights in the sky as, that's just a plane.
Okay.
But it was just sitting there.
Oh.
And as far as I know, planes don't do that.
They don't hover. Well, then it could have been a helicopter.
Possibly.
All right. But you couldn't identify it.
It looked bigger than a helicopter, though. It looked like
in the nighttime sky?
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. But
maybe it was a helicopter that was closer than I thought it was. I don't know.
All right. But you couldn't identify it?
No.
Well, there you go.
Unidentified.
It's an unidentified flying. It doesn't.
And then eventually it did take off, but for a good minute or two, it was just sitting in the sky.
Wow! When it disappeared, did it disappear quickly?
No, very slowly.
Very slowly. So somewhere out there's a UFO that's much slower than the rest. Somebody has to have the slowest UFO. Well, what I mentioned on your show was if it rains, you never see a UFO when it rains or in snow.
They just don't have windshield wipers.
They don't have windshield wipers, and they're so sensitive because they're all electronic. And I think that's an indication of the technology they're using. Whatever they're using is so electronic that they can't go out in the rain. So they don't show up where it's raining.
By the way, I think this has the potential to be a great bit if you ever did get back into comedy.
Right.
I think talking about UFOs not having windshield wipers.
Right. Is funny.
That could get you a good 2-minute bit.
Well, it's good enough. Listen.
Yeah.
Even if it's 10 seconds. But I tell you what, I give it to you right now. You can have it. If you have any thought, if you want to sit down, if you get inspired, they go, wow, I'm gonna go on a UFO jag. Have at it. I will not be upset if I see you one day on Comedy Central saying a joke. I'm sure Bobby Massey's going to say some stuff that I've mentioned to him over the years. Maybe Jay McBride. Probably not. Some whatever. It's fine. Everybody's allowed to use whatever I give them until I'm ready to use it.
I think Jay McBride is killing it right now out in Los Angeles just with a notebook of Dave-Kanyan material.
That's quite possible. But here's a thought I had about comedy. So that's the show, Dumbing It Down with Dave. We'll be talking about one thing, we'll be talking another thing. I talk a lot to Bobby Massey, stand-up comedian Bobby Massey. And we talk on a semi-regular basis. By the way, I'm really afraid to go over 40 because I think the sound is going to really get horrible. So I got to find a way to turn around and slow down. Or maybe this is a development here I could turn into. What is this left turn? This looks like something we could turn into. Oh, good, the Humane Society. They're going to pull into the Columbia Green. Humane Society. I'm just randomly driving, folks, because I'm afraid we hit a certain speed. It's going to sound horrible. Eventually, we're going to park. I'm afraid.
And this is apparently a dead end.
It's a dead. Well, for a lot of animals, it's a dead end. That's not an optimistic sign when you're bringing your animal to the Humane Society. It says dead end. Well, now, did you ever want to know where this place was? You have a dog.
I do have a dog. Well, yes.
Now you know we can get your dog another dog down this dead end road. Oh, that's so ominous.
One dog is more than enough.
Is that ominous? What's the word? It's
ominous. Yeah.
Ominous that the sign says dead end.
Yeah.
All right. So we
actually. Did you see how the sign was like bent, like
it's a little bent.
Like something you might see in a horror movie? Like, oh, we shouldn't go down this road.
Yeah, it's creaky and bent. Oh, there's a house. Somebody actually lives on this road. All right. So what was I saying? Oh, I had this thought because Bobby's having a difficult time. If I could speak, so frankly about somebody who doesn't know I'm talking about him, a little bit of a difficult time making the transition, coming back from Vegas back to New York. He was in New York.
I thought you were going to say something else. I thought when you said transition,
No, we have enough transitioning going on already. Bobby's not transitioning in that way, okay. But I refer to it as transitioning because Vegas is a whole nother world. It's a whole nother experience.
Yeah, and
he had a career to a certain extent of comedy here in New York. He went out. So there it is. Wow, that's a nice building for you. For the Humane Society.
Solar powered.
Look at this structure.
Wow.
That's probably the old SPCA.
Yeah.
And this is, wow, where does this dead end end? That's the creepy ASPCA. Wow.
Yes, it is.
That's probably where they started.
Welcome. Right. Yeah, that's the old one.
It really was.
Wow.
Well, they got some fencing for kennels if you need some free fencing. Wow. That's a big difference between the old and the new. All right, now we're probably, what's the word when you're on a land you're not supposed to be on?
Trespassing?
Yeah, we're trespassing now.
Yeah, I think we are. I think all these posted signs are a good
Is that an indication?
Clue. I think so.
Posted. No licensed shooting allowed. Right.
Oh, okay.
Unlicensed.
So you can't kill animals without a license at the Humane Society.
Right. Hunting, fishing, trapping, trespassing for any purpose is strictly forbidden. Oh, but driving around aimlessly, not so bad. All right, so I had this thought about Bobby because we talk about his jokes, we talk about his material, we talk about. So let me tell you let me run this by you, see what you think.
Okay.
How interesting would it be, Jason Smith and Dave Kanyan, or Jason Smith, Dave Kanyan, and Bobby Massey, or any two comedians or whatever? You get together and you write this material, but you can't make every gig. I can't make every gig. Are you getting nervous? I'm getting a little nervous. This road.
A little nervous.
We're getting into junkyard world, and
I'm also thinking about how the sound is being affected by this road.
I'm turning around. You want to go? You want to keep on going?
I think this is probably the end.
Yeah, I don't know. The road keeps on going. Yeah, I'm scared. I'm going back, folks. We're in we're in some sort of wasteland here. There's a lot of garbage.
I don't know what's going on with all these abandoned vehicles.
We're somewhere if you look on Google Maps, go to the new home of the Columbia County Humane Society, SPCA, and then go a little bit further on this gravel road.
I already made the horror movie reference, but now I'm really scared.
I got a little nervous, too. Oh, this is fun. See? You never know what's going to happen in Dumbing It Down with Dave. This is the first time I've ever had this experience. Probably sounds like hell with the gravel.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to get out of here. We're going to find a safe... We're going to park in the Walmart parking lot.
That's a good idea.
That's good. Do you need anything from a fast food joint or whatever?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So, here's my thought. Wouldn't it be interesting if two or more comedians collaborated on a bit, on a set, a 5-minute or 10-minute set?
Okay.
And then, of course, it couldn't be too specific to the personality. It would have to be somewhat generic.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Like, I don't think 2 or 3 people could deliver the same material.
Right.
But if it's not too specific to a personality, maybe.
Right. And then what would happen is, like, Bobby would work his magic, whatever he does, and he would get gigs. And he would go do his set. The set. And then I would work my magic, and I would get gigs, and then I would do the same exact set for the most part, but, different to whatever it is that I can do different. I would say I can do bull jokes differently, and Bobby can do Italian jokes, and Jason Smith, you could do your stuff, whatever it is. I thought it would be an interesting concept for several comedians, kind of like Gallagher 1 and Gallagher 2, but different, right? To do the same material, but all over, and just kind of share use our powers, for good and not for evil, for non-selfishness, and pull your material and...
All right, here's the thing, though. Is the audience in on that? Like, do they know?
No.
Oh, it's... Okay, so...
No, they have no idea that I might be doing the same material Bobby Massey is doing 30 miles away or wherever, or you, or anybody for that matter.
Could we get accused of stealing from each other, then?
We could. We could be accused, but we all know that we're not stealing. We're sharing.
Right.
Because if one of us benefits, all three of us benefit. You know, it's just an experiment to see how that would work if three guys can pool the resources and put your 5 minutes with my 5 minutes with Bobby's 5 minutes and just sort of make a 15. Like we would each become an immediate team, a three-headed one-guy team.
It's an interesting concept. I don't think, other than Gallagher 1, 2, and if there's a third one, I don't think it's ever been done aside from that.
No, right? That was something I thought about the other day because Bobby has a certain work schedule, so he can't be available on the days that I think I'm on the opposite schedule, and he can't do certain gigs. So and plus he knows people I don't know. You know, in the world of comedy, as you're moving up, you just have a different network. So I thought it'd be interesting that we do something like this. It probably never happened. It would also be funny if we had a black comic in there, maybe even a female comic in there, and kind of pull our brains, mastermind it, write these bits, write these sets, and check your ego at the door, like they say, right? Yeah. Check your ego at the door, get in there, and then we all try to get gigs like we would have been if I was still doing stand-up. Yeah. You're still doing it, Bobby's, whoever's still doing it. Try to get your gigs, but use that material, knowing very well that somewhere else, same night, different night, later that week, early that week, one of us could have been doing the same material somewhere else. And just keep on working it, and whatever happens, happens. What do we care what the world thinks? As long as they're laughing, they don't care where it comes from. Yeah. And if somebody says to you, hey man, I saw Dave Kanyan doing that, then but you know the truth. I didn't steal it from you. And you can choose to divulge the information that we're sharing it, or you can say, hey, that's great, I'm glad you saw Dave Kanyan. This is funny. And we can all sort of, rally around the fact that the four of us, two of us, three of us, whatever it is, pooled our resources and created at least one funny set. You
could also work the crowd, like, Dave Kanyan stole my bit? That mother...
Yeah, right. And by the way, isn't that always great? It's not always great for the guy that gets accused of it, but if we all are in on it, well, it could all backfire on all of us.
It could, yeah.
It could. But it's not about that. It's not about getting over on the audience. It's about... What's a good parking lot? Is this a good parking lot? What, you don't need any beverages or food?
I don't need anything.
Okay. Well, I saw that Burger King has 2 for $6 Whoppers. I'm kind of curious about sitting in the parking lot.
I don't want to eat on your podcast.
No, we're not going to eat. Yeah, we're not going to eat. No, we'll just park. I'm going to park because I'm nervous about all this driving. So I think I don't want to get over on the audience. Yeah. We're not trying to fool them.
Right.
But I think it's an interesting concept for 2 or more comedians to pool their resources and make one great comedian. And it might be you on this night, it might be me on that night, in this location or that location, and nobody knows.
What would be really funny is if we all come up with one stage name to share.
Oh, okay. Well, that's an interesting twist on it. We all become, Sam Shepard or whatever. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen. Well, the woman couldn't be Sam Shepard. Well, no, she could. Yeah, she could be Sammy Shepard. Yeah, that would be kind of funny. All right, I'm going to park here, right here in the ShopRite parking lot.
Next to the birds.
Next to the birds. Yeah, they're going to come look for food now.
Oh boy.
All right, let's just park here. Oh, they are actually coming looking for food. All right, so we'll leave the car running and we'll get some air. So that was us driving. We're done driving. That was an interesting road I chose.
It was. I thought that might have been the end for me.
That might have been the end. I think if I was 13, I would have taken my bike and I would have went to the end. But as a 54-year-old man, I don't think it's wise. And I don't want to get a flat tire back there and have to explain to AAA.
When I was a kid, I may have been that adventurous too, but
things
not
are different. Now. All right. So what do you think about that concept? Does that interest you at all?
It is very interesting. I'm not sure how it would work.
Yeah, either do I.
Like, one joke might kill for one of us and bomb for the other 2.
But how interesting is that? That would be interesting to see how... And then you could see... I think you would see things in yourself or see things in other people. Go, oh, I know why it worked for you. Or it could be interesting. I think it would be an interesting documentary if somebody wanted to film that. You know who I used to think that a lot about? Dan Rossi. I used to remember Dan Rossi did that his material with the losing his virginity.
Yeah.
I used to think all the time, and not in a what's the word? Malicious. Not in a malicious way. I used to think, wow, one of these days I want to come to the Log Tavern and I want to record Dan Rossi's bit, and then I want to go pretty far, like 100 miles away, like somewhere in Connecticut.
And try using his material.
Yeah, but not because I want to be famous on Dan Rossi's material.
Right.
Because I think Dan Rossi is a funny guy, and I think the stuff he did was clever, but I just want to know what it would sound like if I did it. I don't want to get famous on it. I just want to know what it would sound like if I did it and how the audience would react to this face, this body, doing that guy's material. I'm just curious about that.
It's an interesting experiment.
Yeah. Because we do that with famous comics now, right? People do a famous comic night or something. You come in with your...
Yeah, I think once a year at the Lark Tavern they do something like that up in Albany.
Have you ever done it?
Yes.
Who? Oh, really? So who have you done?
The first time I did it, I covered Andrew Dice Clay.
Okay.
And I did the whole thing. I did the voice, I wore the leather jacket, the gloves, everything.
Oh, wow. The cigarette?
Yeah.
Did you just like smoke it from behind?
I didn't smoke it because it's inside and I don't know.
But you held it the whole time?
Yes.
Did you try to take imaginary puffs from it, all that stuff?
I did.
So how long was the bit?
I think I did, I want to say it was around 10 minutes.
How did that go?
It felt like 10 minutes.
Yeah. How did it
go? It went very well.
Yeah?
I also, another year I did Doug Stanhope.
Wow.
And then I think I did it 3 times. I think the third time I did Anthony Jeselnik.
Wow. Dice Clay, Stanhope, Jeselnik.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's interesting 3 choices. And you did 10 minutes of each, basically.
Yes.
And
it was hard as hell, too, because it wasn't my material.
Right.
And I'm trying to do it verbatim. Their words.
Right.
You know, it didn't come from me.
Right.
My material... For me, it doesn't take too long to memorize it. You know, I came up with it.
Right.
But someone else's material, it was a challenge just to get it out, let alone deliver it in a way that'll get a laugh. But
all right, so memorization was a challenge.
Yes.
And then delivering it the way they would deliver it.
Yes.
Especially with Dice, I would think. But am I wrong about that? It was Stanhope and Jeselnik.
I was able to pull it off, but yeah, it was kind of a challenge.
And you did it in front of other comedians, I would assume. So, like, how many people? 20, 30, 40 people?
At least. Those shows usually get packed.
Right. And they're receptive to this stuff.
Yeah.
So they want to laugh. They want to experience Dice.
Yeah, and they know what they're in for. They know they're going in there and they're going to see comedians doing other comedians' bits. And
are you allowed to tweak it at all? Like, you're allowed to add a tag or...
I think you are. I always did it verbatim, but I don't think they were... They're not strict on it. Like
right. There's no rules. It's just entertainment.
Yeah.
All right. So my idea is kind of already somewhat been tested with famous comics.
In a way,
but not this mastermind series where 2 or 3 people would work. Has to be 2 or more, obviously. And I don't know. I think that's an interesting concept. I wish I had the time and energy to do that because I think it would be great.
By the way, I think they'll probably be doing another one next month. It's usually in December.
Okay.
It's Ghosts of Comics Past, they call it.
Ghost of Comics Past at the Lark?
Yes.
Okay.
If they are doing it this year, you might be interested in signing up as Don Rickles.
Yeah, a little tribute.
That would be good.
Yeah. But you know, it's interesting. Every time you see Don Rickles being interviewed, he always talks about how he doesn't write any of it. He's never written any of his material. He doesn't have that Joan Rivers file of decks, whatever they call it, of jokes. He would just go on stage and whatever came up.
That's true.
And when he figured out what worked, he would bring it back. You know, I spent 20 years in the jungle looking for your uncle, and hockey puck, and which I don't know if he actually ever said that on stage, but all his go-tos.
That would be an interesting experiment too. You're kind of a crowd worker comic. You do have material, but you did a lot of crowd work. A lot more than I could ever do.
Right.
Don Rickles did a lot of crowd work as well.
Right.
It would be interesting to see one crowd work comedian trying to get over doing another crowd work comedian's stuff.
It would be hard trying to make fun of President Reagan and Secretary of State Schultz.
I don't think you could prepare for it because you don't know what you're going to find in the crowd.
Yeah. You know what I would have to do? I would have to find all this footage, all of his go-to jokes.
Yeah.
And I would have to hope that an Asian woman shows up in the audience, and of course a black guy.
Or plant them in there. Well, you know Mo's going to be there. So.
Right, so I got a black guy. Yeah, there you go. What's up, brother? You know, all that stuff.
Get an Asian friend to sit in the front row.
I don't have any Asian friends. I haven't met an Asian person in like 20 years. So, and by the way, so that's an interesting. I would consider that. That would take a lot of work.
Uh-huh.
I think it would be. I would feel less pressured to be a good Don Rickles and crowd worker as I would just doing myself.
Yeah.
I definitely would feel more pressure doing myself. And I was more of a crowd worker because I was not a good writer. I had no time and energy to write, so it was easy. And that was an accident. That was like one of the first few times I went up there. I just didn't have faith and confidence in my own material, and I saw something happen in the audience, whatever it was, and I just went with it. And when I saw it working for me, I just kept on doing it. So I really enabled myself to not write. And by doing crowd work.
I've had the opposite happen to me, where I have to go by the script, as I would call it, and I was so scared to go off of something going on in the crowd. I mean, not every time. Sometimes I would go to the crowd and it would work for me, but sometimes it's just like, oh man, I don't know if that would work, and I just don't do it.
Is that funny? I see that in a lot of comics where once they go off script, it's like, we're uncharted territory, just like the road we were just on. Danger zone, turn around, get back to the script. Well, that's interesting, but that's one of the reasons why I singled out Dan Rossi, because Dan great comic, very clever and all that stuff. I don't know what he's still doing today, but I would see his material go, I think I could do that, like in Stamford, Connecticut, and I would add in the crowd work, and I wonder what would happen with that. But I would never take credit for I would never say, all right, listen, now it's gone too far. I can't take this gig, but that would be interesting how far I would go and could go with somebody else's material. And is my appearance and my delivery driving this material further along than he did, even though it was authentic to him?
Yeah.
That would be interesting. I wonder.
I think a lot of material, the crowd looks at who's delivering it, and they say, okay, coming from him, that's funny.
That's believable. Yeah, right. That's funny. Right. Well, that's good. Look, can you believe it's already been 27 minutes?
Has it?
It goes by really fast.
Wow.
Yeah. So, all right. So we'll do a couple more minutes. All right. So that's interesting that we spoke about that, and thanks for for noticing. Yeah, I did a lot of crowd work, but it was just really me enabling myself to not go home and write, which I wish I had really pushed that issue. But I never was a writer. But now I'm writing. Well, not now, but I have been writing like paragraphs and not chapters, but yeah, small chapters, but personal stuff and more journaling than comedy.
Yeah.
Just sort of journaling things. I need to do more of that. My problem is I fall asleep. I have a journal where I start and go, I'm at this location at this time or this day, just like I did the show. I open up, the paragraph, and before I get to anything I really want to write about, I'm dozing off. I'm just sitting there with a pen, and you see these pen marks. It's just like Dave falling asleep.
I've been bringing this notebook with me to my day job because I have a lot of downtime and a lot of funny stuff happens, so I could be writing it down.
Right.
But I just haven't been able to bring the pen to the paper for some reason. I don't know what it is.
That is interesting. Yeah, so you're doing that job you take care of the people.
Yes. And I got to be careful, too, about what I joke about because confidentiality. But
how's that working out? You've been doing that for a while now.
About 5 months, yeah.
Wow, that's good for you.
Yeah, it is.
So you're taking care of these people who are incapable of taking care of themselves?
Yeah, well, no, they're pretty independent.
Okay.
They're just a little developmentally challenged.
Okay.
It's the politically correct word.
So and they live all in a house? They
kind of live on their own. They're usually in apartments. We do take care of houses as well, but I'm not on that side of it.
Okay.
I go to these people's apartments, and it's usually one or two of them living together.
And you'll spend a day with them?
Yeah.
Like the same people every day, or?
Most days, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How many hours a day?
Up to 8. A lot of these guys have jobs too, so sometimes I get there, they're not home, and so I'm kind of bored. I'll clean their kitchen for them or something.
Oh,
it's
really?
not in my job description, but I'll do it.
Really?
Yeah. That's why I said I have a lot of downtime when I'm at work.
You go to people's homes and they might not be there, and
and then they'll come home, within an hour or two.
Oh, okay, all right.
And then I'm like, all right, what do you want to do today? And we go do it.
And you drive them around?
Yeah.
Because they probably can't drive.
A couple of them are working on getting to the point where they can drive.
That's interesting. Yeah. And your vehicle?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay.
There are company vehicles, or I could use my own and get paid for mileage, which is nice.
And you take them to the supermarket, or but do you ever do anything fun? Like, do they want to go? Like where? Like, where do they want to go? That's fun.
I've got one guy who loves gambling.
Okay.
And I've had to take 2 trips already with him to Turning Stone.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that would be an all-day event with him.
Okay, so how does that work? Like, do you know the day before you go in, or you don't know until he comes and goes, hey?
Well, if it's a trip like that, he'll let me know weeks in advance. Like, hey, what about on this day we go to Turning Stone? And I'll be like, all right.
All right, so what's crazy spontaneous? What's like the craziest spontaneous thing that's happened? You didn't expect it to happen.
I don't know if I can get into any...
Okay. Do the best you can.
Yeah, I can't get into any details on like the craziest thing because that'll get me in trouble.
Really?
I'm sure no one's listening.
So if I say you went to a strip club and
we didn't do that, but I would tell you if that happened.
I would think that'd be the craziest thing. I was waiting for you to
it's funny.
Blink once.
It's funny you say that because I went to this job to meet the one guy I'm mostly working with.
Uh-huh.
And I went with a supervisor, and I got to know the guy, and I'm like, all right, so what do you like doing? And he's like, oh, I love gambling. He's like, I'd love for someone to take me to Turning Stone once in a while.
Okay.
So
that's quite a drive.
Okay, it is. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. I didn't say anything while I was talking to him, but as we left, I talked to the supervisor that was there with me, and I'm like, okay, he likes gambling. Are casino trips allowed?
Right.
And she's like, oh yeah, you'd be surprised what we can do with these guys. Some guys like going to strip clubs. I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay. And what choice do you have?
Yeah, I mean, if it's my job, it's my job.
Wow. So you've been to the Turning Stone a couple of times.
Yeah.
That's quite a drive from Albany.
It is.
That's like an hour and a half or an hour?
It's a little over 2 hours, I think.
Well, it's 2.25 from Albany to Syracuse. The Turning Stone is closer than that.
Oh, well, I should say I'm not working from Albany. I'm up in Glens Falls.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Oh, all your clients are in the Glens Falls area?
A couple are out of that area. But
okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's interesting. And are you obligated to stay as long as they want to stay, or you got to cut it? Because listen, my job is an 8-hour. I got to go.
They're reasonable. They understand that.
Because you can't get any overtime in your job.
No, I can.
Oh, really?
I can.
Jesus.
That's the other thing too. I said, well, what if someone wants to do something like really late at night? And they said, well, you have the option of being flexible with your schedule, coming in later or something, or you could get the overtime. I'm like, okay.
Wow. And what about drinking?
Can't do that. That's the one thing you can't do.
All right. But they can.
They can, but I can't.
They can.
Yeah.
No, you can't. No, you can't. But they can't. So, so you can't divulge. Or is it like can they drink to excess, and then you have to be, or you if you see it happening, you would I would be afraid. Your job to me is so scary because
some of it is scary, and there are parts that are really scary. Like you have to be certified to give medicine.
Oh, boy.
And that's putting someone's life in your hands,
Are you certified to give medicine?
I am. Insulin, too.
This is such... Really?
Yeah.
Shots?
Yeah.
You're not a phlebotomist. No, that would be drawing blood, right?
Right, I think so. I'm not that.
You can give a shot.
Yeah.
Do you feel good about that? Like, you feel confident?
I know I can do it. I have done it.
Really?
Yeah, but it's... If you don't feel a little nervous doing it, you probably shouldn't be doing it.
Jason, have you ever thought... What is the title of your job? What's your title?
Direct Support Professional.
Direct Support Professional. Have you ever thought in your whole life that this would be what you'd be doing at this point?
That's...
Other than your fantasies of being a stand-up comic and all that other stuff, did you ever think... Because not too long ago, you were working at a car dealership.
Yeah, that lasted 2 months. Right. I knew right away this was not what I should be doing.
Right, and years ago... You were...
I was in retail for a very long time.
Retail, yeah. And the beer distributor or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And here you are.
Now
Direct... What is it called?
Direct Support Professional. It's funny. I was thinking about whether or not I could see my life going this way.
Yeah.
And from a young age, I have hung out with people who might have disabilities. I never thought anything of it. I just hung out with them, and... Now I'm kind of doing it professionally.
That's great. So, all right. And it's a living?
It could be better.
Could be better, yeah. That's I say the same thing. But and you got some over. So how many hours a week? Is it what's?
I get at least 40 hours a week.
At least 40.
Yeah.
Monday through Friday.
I work Tuesday through Saturday. It is a 7-day-a-week job. Like, there's always somebody working.
Right.
And that includes holidays. Like, I'm fortunate enough to have Christmas and New Year's fall on my days off this year.
Right.
But if it wasn't on my days off, I would be working.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
And bad weather, snow, rain, it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
You got to sort of be where you need to be.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
They're understanding with coming in late, though. Like, I've had jobs where you get yelled at if you're 7 minutes late.
Yeah, right.
They don't care. As long as you're up there and doing your job, they don't care if you show up 10, 15 minutes late.
Right. And this job has no bonus or incentive clauses, right? Can you do anything remarkable to get a bonus or an incentive? You can't take care of an extra person. It's like,
not that I know of. I've gotten a lot of compliments from my supervisors.
Oh, there you go. That's nice.
Talk about promotions and stuff, and which surprises me. I'm only 5 months in, and they're already talking about different positions I might move up to.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Promotions.
Yeah.
All right. That's what would be the next level up?
Like an assistant manager, where I would be in charge of the people doing the job I do now.
Wow. And who is this person who's supervising you now? The guy.
I have a few supervisors. They're all very nice people.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, good for you.
I wasn't planning on talking about my quote-unquote day job much, but
it's interesting because
I don't think I said anything that'll get me in trouble.
I don't think you said anything at all. But that's great. I mean, I know my wife and I have known people that have worked in houses that have all these people,
and we have that too within this agency.
Right. And it's been brought up in my household, but it was never anything I could consider doing because my parents are deaf, and I felt like I've taken care of people all my life. And my level of patience, I don't know, is that good.
That's actually funny you bring that up because I think part of what got me the job was in my interview. Oh, yeah. They had asked if I had any experience, and I mentioned while I was working at Home Depot, there was a guy who's completely deaf.
Right, I remember that.
I didn't know any sign language. I ended up learning some sign language to communicate with him, and I found ways to actually carry on full conversations with him.
They like that story.
They did, they liked that story.
You should have mentioned my name. That probably would have gotten you 100%. And of course, I know Dave Kanyan. He's a coda.
He's a coda.
Whoa, you know a coda?
You know what coda is?
Yeah.
Hired.
That's it. Instant hire. If you know a coda, bam, right to the front of the line. All right, that's great. Well, Jason, that's good. I think that's good. That's 37 minutes. Right there. When we could have stopped at 27 minutes, that would have been a good broadcast right there.
Again, I feel like there's so much more we could cover.
Yeah. I was trying to get to that, and we never got to it. So all right. So we'll have to do this again. All right. So Jason Smith's Deplorable Radio, second Sunday of the month.
Yes.
Every month, WGXC.org.
Yeah, 11 a.m. till noon Eastern time. 11
a.m. till noon Eastern, wherever you are in the world. If it's 11 a.m. Eastern. Oh, I never even did a mileage report, but that's okay. So also don't forget to listen to Pipe Dream on comedypipe.com. Listen to that's the mileage report. We didn't do a breather. We didn't do any of that stuff. We got so busy talking, I forgot all about it. Don't forget to listen to Pipe Dream Wednesdays at 8 o'clock at night, wherever you are in the world. If it's Wednesday at 8 o'clock in the East Coast of the United States, it's time for Pipe Dream, brought to you by the people of comedypipe.com. Listen to Mike, also known as 3D. Why am I holding this phone like I'm talking into it? That's an old habit. Mike, also known as 3D, and his co-hosts for 1 hour. It also, you can see it live on YouTube, so check it out, comedypipe.com. So that's the mileage report. I've done 180 miles since the last podcast, I think, if I remember correctly, and I'm at 166,029 miles. There you go. So I'm moving into the Honda Fit. We didn't get a chance to really talk about that, but you'll hear about it.
The Kia is no more?
No, the Kia exists. My wife has it.
Okay.
We swapped cars, but I am actually going to move into this.
Like, move into it?
Like, live in this. We have to talk about that in another show.
Okay. That sounds like a whole nother...
It's a whole nother show. But if you listen to episode 80... This is episode 84. If you listen to episode 83, you'll hear it.
Okay.
Still doing the wrestling thing?
I wish I could.
No time.
No time. I don't even have time to go to wrestling shows unless someone I work with wants to go to one.
Right. You want to go outside and jostle around a little bit? We'll do what do they call that? When we face off in wrestling?
Lock up?
We'll lock up a little bit. Want to lock up? All All right, we won't do that. People go, hey, that's not right. We'll do a little Louis C.K. lockup with...
Oh, Jesus.
They should do celebrity lockup. They got one perv wrestling another perv, and they just pull out this stuff. And you mind if I do this? Yes, I do. I don't care. Just going to do it anyway. All right, well, folks, if you want to listen to the show I just did with Jason, you got to go to WGXC.org, and it'll be archived, we hope.
Yes, it should be. I've never checked, but they say it's archived.
Okay, they say it's archived. I made an appearance. We spoke for an hour about wrestling, the paranormal, and all the celebrities that are... Politics, and all the people who are being brought up on charges of sexual deprivation. And here we are doing this podcast. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
It's great. Thank you to coming to Dave's Honda Fit.
It's a great studio you have here.
Yeah, isn't it great? It sounds great. I bet you it sounds fantastic as long as we're not on a gravel road. I can't wait to hear what that sounds like. Probably sounds. And by the way, thank you to Bradford Rogers for giving me this microphone from Smart Love Plus, a Rhodes. It's a Rhodes, I think RHODES microphone. I'm not plugging Rhodes microphone, but I am plugging Bradford Rogers. You should check him out, Jason.
Okay.
He's the multimedia ninja. He's got a YouTube channel, and he's got amazing videos. What he can do with a video is really impressive. If I could do that, I would think that would be dangerous. Once again, just like Dan Rossi, I feel like if I could do what other guys can do, I would never leave the house, and I would be amazing. But we have to leave the house because we have to go to work. You have to go to work. We can't just do what we want to do 100% full time. Doesn't work that way.
No.
All right. Got to go to work. All right. 41 minutes. Thank you, folks, for listening in. Stay tuned for episode 85. Who knows what will happen next? If this sounds good, then I'll be doing more. I'm going to try to go back to 2 podcasts a week. I've been doing 1 for the longest time. And I've gone 30 days and 40 days without doing any. So, because of all these things that are happening in my life. But I'm going to try to get back to it, folks. Do the best I can. Thank you for tuning in to Dave, Dumbing It Down with Dave. Don't forget to tweet me at DumbWithDave or email me at dumbingitdownwithdave@yahoo.com. I think I gave all my plugs. And that's it, right? That's everything. That's good.
Follow my show at Deplorable-Radio. See upcoming guests. I tweet funny stories that I find in the news sometimes.
There you go. At Deplorable-Radio.
Yes.
There you go. Because the website or the Facebook page is Jason Smith's Deplorable-Radio.
Yes.
But on Twitter, you're just Deplorable-Radio.
Yes.
Fantastic. All right, folks. Goodbye. Good day. Good night. Good luck. Good riddance. Godspeed. Good rats. Goodrats.com. I'll tell you about that later.
Okay.
And great skills. Take care, folks. Thanks for tuning in.